I'm Adrian, the cruise and travel guy. You've heard of cruising New Zealand, but what if I told you there was a way to see places that a cruise would never get you close to, and all in apparent comfort and luxury? Today, I'll be crossing from Auckland to Wellington in less than 12 hours without stepping onto a plane or into a car. This is Great Journeys New Zealand Northern Explorer. My journey began in Sydney with a short 3-hour flight across the Tasman Sea to Auckland, New Zealand's largest city and a regular cruise favourite. I've linked to my flight review in the description below. I chose to maximise my limited time in Auckland by staying in a centrally located hotel. My train leaves very early tomorrow morning, so I've booked myself into the Fable M Gallery here in central Auckland. The room was compact but comfortable, and the in-room coffee machine would come in handy early the next morning. It was well and truly dark by the time I checked in, so I headed out for a short walk and a quick dinner. With an early wake-up call the next day though, I soon called it a night. My alarm did its job at 5:15 the next morning, but for my Sydney body clock, that was 3:15. Thank goodness for coffee. Today's the day, so let's head to the station. The Northern Explorer runs between Auckland and New Zealand's capital city, Wellington. It covers 681 kilometres, or roughly 420 miles, in under 12 hours. Southbound departures run every Monday, Thursday and Saturday, while the return journey departs every Friday, Sunday and Wednesday. Because the Northern Explorer is pulled by a diesel engine, the train operates from Auckland's The Strand station, and not the more centrally located underground Britomart. The Strand is only a 5 or so minute drive from the city centre, or about a 20-minute walk. The Northern Explorer offers two classes of travel, Scenic and Scenic Plus. Both make use of carriages that feature large panoramic windows and skylights, but Scenic Plus takes it up a notch with upgraded inclusions and comfort. One large suitcase up to 23 kilos, as well as a carry-on style case up to 7 kilos, can be checked through to Wellington. Checked luggage is stored separately and you won't have access to it, so pack a day bag with all of your essentials, including charging cables and portable batteries. Scenic Plus travellers can bring 2 large suitcases up to 23 kilos in weight each. I opted for the Scenic Plus experience, and I'll show you everything it includes, as well as what I paid for it, and whether it was worth it. Scenic Plus travellers get to enjoy a contemporary carriage, with seating at a 4-top table, providing a foundation for a bespoke, premium dining experience that, as you'll see, really punctuates the entire trip. The regionally inspired cuisine is paired with local wines, soft drinks, tea and coffee, which is free-flowing throughout the entire journey and all included in the cost of the fare. One of the main reasons I chose Scenic Plus was for the experience of being wined and dined for hours, and it did not disappoint. At my seat on arrival was a menu card which outlined the entire day's journey of food, covering every conceivable mealtime from morning until night. Those with dietary restrictions could lodge their requests when booking the trip, and were then spoken to again once on board to confirm their needs. The menu also had a list of suggested drinks, but you could choose anything from the full range at any time. Here's a quick look at the standard Scenic Class carriage. The majority of the car is given over to 2x2 seating with fold-down tabletops, much like an airplane. In comparison, the Scenic Plus carriage felt much lighter and more spacious. I was lucky to have a full table to myself, perfect for filming and reflecting. On busy trips, sharing is common, but solo travelers might luck out like I did. I don't mind meeting new people at all, but I was glad to have my own space to film and capture my thoughts without impacting anyone else's time on board. In Scenic Class, travelers can make use of the cafe car, which remains open throughout the journey. It serves a variety of snacks, meals and beverages, all available to purchase up until the train nears its final destination. The Scenic Plus experience began with coffee or tea, and a perfect flat white soon arrived at my table after the train pulled away from the station. Our route would see us depart Auckland at 7:45 am and arrive in Wellington just before 6:30 pm. Passengers can join the train for the full journey or start and end their journey at any of 8 stations the train stops at along the way. The almost 700-kilometre rail journey will take us through flat plains and rolling hills, across viaducts, along rivers, and even New Zealand's western coastline. We'll be following the historic North Island Main Trunk Railway, an engineering feat that took almost 3 decades to complete. As the sun continued to rise, I enjoyed the warmth of my coffee as we set off through metropolitan Auckland. Zipping past stations, I watched as commuters on the platforms braved the winter morning temperatures, waiting for their trains to work or school, while I sat in the comforting confines of my own private booth. It felt very cozy, and I felt very lucky. In Scenic Plus, the crew are referred to as hosts, and soon after our journey began, we were given a brief overview of both the emergency procedures and, more enjoyably, the day's schedule, which included mealtimes and a general service rundown. A moving train can make for a challenging work environment, but our hosts were superstars throughout, professional but also warm. Before each meal, drink orders would be taken. It all kicked off at about 8:30 am with this slice of feijoa bread. It was a sweet start to the day's dining. The vegetable frittata with streaky bacon arrived later in the morning, and it was just as delicious. I paired it, shamelessly, with an oyster bay brute. My body thought it was past noon, so who was I to argue? Of course, the main reason to ever take a trip like this is for the scenery, and it's proving to be pretty epic already. The Scenic Plus carriage was located towards the back of the train, with the cafe car located one ahead. Walking through led to 2 Scenic Class carriages, and then finally the open air viewing carriage. This was the perfect spot to enjoy an unimpeded view, but in winter at least, let me recommend you bring some sort of insulating jacket, because it was absolutely freezing outside, and without it, I wouldn't have been able to stand it for longer than a few minutes at a time. It wasn't very convenient to head outside on a whim. If you wanted to see something in particular, as I did, you had to plan to be there with enough time to negotiate 3 carriages along the way. I would have made more use of the open air platform during the trip if it was closer. One of the best features was actually found on my phone. Great Journeys New Zealand has an app that connects to the onboard Wi-Fi network. It lets you keep up with the train's progress on an interactive map. While announcements on the train were kept to a minimum, with the app you could quickly refer to your location and even learn about places of interest along the way. With headphones, you could listen to the description being read by a voice actor, or you could just read it on screen. The Wi-Fi service also came with 500 megabytes of included data to use for the duration of the trip. Each carriage had a toilet, with Scenic Plus having one for exclusive use of Scenic Plus travellers, but this wasn't enforced. Back at my table, I found myself double parked, with a brute top-up I had ordered much earlier, arriving with a glass of Pinot Gris, which was recommended on the menu as an ideal pairing for lunch. That consisted of grilled chicken skewers and an orzo salad. The chicken was tender and well seasoned, while the pasta salad was a little sweet for my tastes. Orange cello and dark chocolate mousse was dessert, and it was outstanding. Of course, I had to accept the menu's recommendation of pairing it with the Summer Love Sparkling Rosé, although it was on the sweet side for me. An espresso shot countered that and helped keep me alert for the remainder of the journey. I was looking very forward to seeing the famous Raurimu Spiral, a single-track railway that negotiates over 130 meters of ascending terrain. With 3 hairpin bends, a complete circle, and 2 tunnels, this section of the railway was an engineering feat itself, with the original design concept dating back to 1898. I managed to make my way to the open-air carriage for the experience, braving the icy wind and diesel fume-filled tunnels for the experience. Totally worth it. This is in no way a journey from A to B, it's very much a slow way of travel that lets you see parts of the New Zealand landscape that many cruise travellers will never see. And I'm very glad that I packed my North Face jackets. It's freezing. The weather during our journey wasn't really on our side, with low cloud blocking our view of Mount Ruapehu, which is one of the main drawcards of this trip. Still, the wintry rain band helped to create its own ambience that was pretty spectacular. There's really something incredibly special about enjoying the passing sights from the comfort of a train. Minimal announcements meant the train was wonderfully quiet, cozy even, especially with the raindrops streaking across the massive windows and skylights. My day of eating was not over yet. Afternoon brought a cheese platter with 3 cheeses, crackers and hummus, paired with Sauvignon Blanc, of course. Great Journeys New Zealand offers 3 routes, the Northern Explorer on the North Island, as well as the Coastal Pacific between Picton and Christchurch, and the Trans-Alpine between Christchurch and Greymouth, both on the South Island. I'd love to return to New Zealand soon to complete the southern routes. Tour packages can be booked, including rail, transfers, accommodation and meals, or you can go it alone, or even let us help you plan a custom package that suits you. Eventually, the clouds cleared to reveal a magical sunset. Picture perfect, the orange glow of the setting sun shone on my, once again, double-parked dining table. Oops. I enjoyed the recommended pairing of Cabernet Sauvignon with the steered beef fillet, roast potatoes, and seasonal greens. It was the weakest of the meals, but I didn't care. I had eaten enough food to sustain a small nation, and the day had been one epic experience after another. As the train neared its terminus at Wellington station, I thought about whether the Scenic Plus experience was worth the cost. Scenic Plus cost me 499 New Zealand dollars, about 460 Australian dollars or 300 US dollars. Standard Scenic Class for this trip was 219 New Zealand dollars, about 205 Aussie dollars or 135 US dollars. That's a big jump, but here's why I think it was worth the splurge. All food and drinks were included, and on the whole, it was really hard to complain about the offering. The Plus carriage was nicer than the regular carriage, it felt very calm, and the seating was spacious and comfortable. Of course, that was helped by the fact that I lucked out with my own table. And finally, the service was excellent. Dessert of sticky date pudding with butterscotch sauce was accompanied by the crashing waves of the Kapiti coast. My footage picked up more than my eyes could, it was much darker than it looks here. Once in Wellington, I bid farewell to the iconic Northern Explorer and made my way to my hotel for the evening, the QT, a venue as unique as Wellington itself. My overnight visit coincided with the Maori New Year celebration called Matariki. I enjoyed the light shows, music and storytelling across the waterfront district for a few hours while reflecting on my day. I think what I loved most about it was just going with the flow. The whole experience perfectly matched that ethos of slow travel, of breathing in the serenity and calmness, of course all punctuated by the majesty of the passing sights. It was also something I felt comfortable experiencing alone. I really enjoyed the solitude. Over just 2 nights, I got to do something different and unique and see a part of the country that many cruisers would likely miss. I think if you're interested in doing something different for your next lands-based adventure, particularly if you're from the east coast of Australia and looking to do something over a couple of days like I did, this is definitely something to consider. Let me know in the comments, would you do something like this or have you done one before? There are a couple of extra train journeys like I mentioned on the South Island and they look phenomenal. This one for me, it was a little bit more of a timing thing, so I managed to do just this one, but in the future, I would love to do the other 2 as well. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're looking to book a cruise or holiday, head to my website first and give me a follow on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date with my travels as they happen. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.